Jeremy, talk about Tattoo Chef stock. Jeremy, talk about TDCF stock. Jeremy.
Welcome back, everybody. I have a special guest today. You're looking at the man that won the Everything Money Contest. Fake ALIAS. Welcome, buddy.
Second place. I can't take credit for that. Yeah, I can't take credit for the guy who did the first place.
Well, I already screwed up the intro. We're going to have to delete the video now.
All right. Yeah, this never happens.
Yeah, it's been nice to meet you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah, let's play your intro real quick, and then we'll get into introductions.
Also quick, smart, and disciplined.
When you increase liabilities, to debit the liabilities, let's say $10, cash.
Writing off the top of his head, it was incredible. I'm just sometimes sitting there in awe.
Oh, zero margin. Of course that makes sense. Of course it's going to be zero.
I'm probably smarter than you, so it's okay.
Jeremy, you talk about transparency. When did you let everybody know you're being paid every month by whatever stock was trying to have you pump and dump? Not gonna lie, guys, he's a lot more value-oriented than he portrays on the channel.
I am very lucky to have that guy in my life.
That last comment with Seth.
Yeah, ever since I saw Seth go on Fabio's channel, that entire interview was like, it is just ripe with gold mines, especially after he got fired. So I remember him saying that. I was like, oh, that is going to bite him in the ass so fast.
Yeah, I actually wasn't able to watch that. Was he like fluffing Paul the entire time?
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, because that's the second you made the Everything Money contest, I immediately ran to that stream and I was like, I can just make a million intros with just this stream alone.
Well, didn't the stream get taken down, or am I crazy?
Oh no, it's still on his channel. You just gotta find it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking about doing another contest. I don't know who to do it about. What would your recommendation be?
Ooh, I don't know. It would have been great to do it on like the Reichsmarshal, but he's just not relevant anymore. There's Chris Nolan, but he's just like too boring.
Yeah, for context, if y'all don't know who the Reichsmarshal is, he's a very special individual that hides his face, lives in Thailand, attacked my channel consistently, fluffed Scott Schaefer and Chris Norland. But apparently I'm a scammer because I don't know. What did I do? Like, sell an accounting course, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, did a seminar. Freaking scammer.
for $50. I need to do that. Yeah. Why did you sign up for that, boy? Do you have accounting experience?
Yeah, I already got my master's in accounting.
Yeah, so tell us more about yourself. So do you have a YouTube channel? Who are you?
Yeah, so I started a YouTube channel just for fun a while back. Very inconsistent poster. Did post 2 videos in the last 2 days, so there's that. But yeah, I've got my master's in accounting in 2020. Half my CPA exams are done. So I got to take Reg and BEC still. And not looking forward to it because I am terrible at taxes.
You don't like taxes, sir?
No.
That's my career field now, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's cool. You're doing the CPA exam. I know that's a freaking beast. How many hours a day are you studying for that?
It really depends on how busy I am with work. Because working like corporate accounting, every like quarter end, it's like its own mini busy season. So during that time period, it's a little hard to find time to study, at least during the weekdays, a little bit during the weekends. But aside from that, it's probably like 5-6 hours a day, maybe.
Holy crap. Like, so you get home, or do you telework or do you go to work?
Oh, my office is literally right behind me.
Oh, okay. So you immediately get off and then you start studying for 5 or 6 hours?
No, like if there's really not much going on in corporate accounting during like the off quarters, I'll spend most of my workday studying unless someone needs me for something.
Do they care?
My boss doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean,
he endorses it. Apparently it's in our policy. We're not supposed to do that, but he's just like, what else are you going to do? You're just sitting at home doing nothing. Like, who cares?
You're gonna sit there and you're gonna stare at the wall, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do because that's what we're paying you for, boy. You understand me?
Yeah, the main reason I don't go to the office, it's pointless.
Yeah, I remember when I worked for the government, it was like there'd be like 2 days out of the month that I would actually do anything, like literally 2 days. And then the rest of the day, I would literally just sit around and I'd be so freaking bored, nothing to do. So I can
Yeah.
totally see why you want to utilize that time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know what I'm going to do at that point though. Once I'm done with the CPA, when I have that free time, but I'm transitioning right now to external reporting, so I know that there's going to be a bigger workload doing that. It's going to be a lot more interesting. 'Cause right now, most of my accounting work is pretty much dedicated to the quarters where I work in consolidations, probably the most exciting part of accounting that anyone's ever seen.
That's the hardest part of accounting, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that's sarcasm. I do all the journal entries that no one cares about because it's all intercompany stuff. So by the end of the quarter, that stuff basically cancels itself out. So yeah, a lot of that stuff is really boring, but at the same time, it's also kind of exciting because I get to talk to a lot of entity. We have like 70 entities at the place that I work at. So during the quarters, I do a lot of like flux analysis stuff. So I have to go out to the field, talk to all the different entities across the world, and basically, if I see like random fluctuations on any of their accounts, I kind of have to like ask them like, "Hey, what's going on?" I mean, 80% of the time, it's like, "Why did your cash increase 20%?" Like, okay, well, your sales went up. Okay, that's common sense. Then every now and then, they have some weird, wacky stuff going on.
Yeah, they probably don't care about revenues going up. They probably care more about expenses going up, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, it's also a corporate control. So I mean, the main reason my job exists is because the auditors want it to exist. So I got to be thankful for that.
Yeah, because you came from the audit world. Didn't you work for the Big Four or something?
Yeah, I worked for the Big Four for about 2 years. That was definitely a fun time. I've learned that auditors, a lot of them are alcoholics, pretty openly.
Well, I mean, public accounting in general is tough. The Big Four is like, in my opinion, is like the most brutal thing. I've never done it, but I've just read stories about it, and it just
Mhm.
sounds like hell on earth. Whereas, like, I work for a very, very small tax firm, so it's not as crazy as you guys work, or at least where you used to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember after my first busy season in audit, when tax was getting into their busy season before COVID. So back when going to the office was like a regular thing, I remember like going to the tax floor, and it was just freaking chaos. People were just like running around like getting papers from printers. Like they had this crazy giant like food buffet out for tax people because that's at least one thing the Big Four does. Since they know how crazy everyone's working, like they pamper the crap out of you. We actually had a massage parlor come up to our corporate floor, and everyone got a free 15-minute massage.
Oh, did you get a happy ending? No, I'm just kidding.
That would have just been so awkward in front of everyone. The giant line, like, oh man, I can't wait for my happy ending. Oh yeah. I hope
But I mean,
they don't clean it.
yeah, well, the good thing is that oh god, the good thing is that like once you leave public accounting, you have that Big Four in your resume. You're pretty much set up in the accounting world for life. I had to start off from like scratch because I just had the government, which wasn't jack, and then I applied to this local firm. I got in, thankfully, and now that I finally have experience, I can do whatever I want. But it's the Big Four is definitely a huge start to somebody's career. So even though it sucks, I think people should do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The second I started working there, only a few months in, just recruiters were just in my inbox constantly. I think after 6 months, someone like emailed me like, "Hey, I can get you 30% more than what you're making right now, just as a staff accountant for some software company." And that was the moment where I looked at it like, that's so tempting. But I was like, okay, if they're giving me that kind of offer after only 6 months, what if I stay for 2 years? And that's kind of how that played out. And that's really how the Big Four kind of like keeps you roped in. You're always like this close to the next milestone. And the way how they set it up too, with like retirement too, and how it vests. Like every March, I think it vests another year, but then every promotion is in September. So it's like it always feels like, oh, if I just hang on just a little bit longer, there's just a little more incentive. And then once you get that, they just dangle the next carrot in front of you. So it never feels like a good time to leave, even though in the back of your mind, you're like, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to go. I mean, yeah, you can work yourself to death because I mean, I hear about a lot of people like literally working themselves to death in the Big Four. So at some point, everybody, unless you're a psycho and you want to be a partner, stay that long. you got to get out of there and do something else.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but just interacting with like some of the partners and directors, they're just something about them. They're just not humans. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But yeah, like I said though, a lot of them are kind of borderline alcoholics, and they're pretty open about it. Like every like event that we had that was like public involved some sort of drinking. Like I don't know. Like I feel like if you don't drink at the Big Four, they just won't hire you. They're just like, this guy's too normal, too sane.
Man, that sounds like the military, actually.
Yeah, I've known some people in the military. I mean, my family's kind of a military background. I didn't join the military only because I have like back issues, so they wouldn't let me in to begin with.
You didn't miss much, trust me.
Well,
sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, what if I had just started in accounting when I was 22 years old instead of starting when I was like 28, 29? But you can't change the past.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. I went back to school when I was 24. I'm actually 32, and I didn't. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, you're so old.
Yeah, I got my master's when I was 30. That was the other thing I was so weird about joining the Big Four at age 30 as like a staff accountant. Like everyone else is like 21, 22. I'm like the old guy.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even consider the Big Four. I mean, I could probably get in there now if I wanted to, but yeah, everybody's young. You don't fit in. Like, I'm gonna stay at small firms forever. Even if they don't pay as much and don't have as many perks, it's like I'm not doing that.
Oh no, the thing is the smaller firms pay more than the Big Four. Like, I've done my price comparisons. The way how they advertise it is like, well, even though they don't pay as much, you get paid in experience and perks and whatnot. Like, they're not wrong, but it's like, dude, you guys can pay me more than what you're paying me. Like,
but doesn't the pay start to like ratchet up because like you get senior
yeah.
and then you get manager? So like at a small firm, you're kind of like, okay, you're an accountant, and then maybe you can be a senior, maybe, and then the next step is partner. And if they don't want you to be a partner, you're not going to be a partner. So there's a lot. The glass ceiling's a lot lower in smaller firms.
Yeah, once you get to like manager, which the general trajectory, it's every 2 to 3 years is your next promotion, unless you just completely suck. Which basically at a certain point, once you hit those thresholds, if you're not getting promoted, you're getting fired, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's like, I don't know. It's such a weird culture.
That's exactly how the military is. If you don't get a certain promotion, they kick you out. It's the exact same thing. Wow, the parallels here are growing pretty stark.
Yeah, you sink or swim, and you become an alcoholic.
I mean, did you see a lot of people actually get fired, or was it more people just quitting because they were tired of it?
Most people quit. I've heard of people who've gotten fired, but it's usually that's the sort of thing that they want to, keep on the down low. So people who do get let go, you only really hear about it through like gossip and rumors. And a lot of the time, you already saw it coming a mile away, just because it's one of those things where even though it's such a big office, everyone knew everyone based on like performance, especially like higher ups. All the teams talk. People knew who the good employees were, who the bad employees were. So, yeah, they try to kind of push you out before firing you, mostly so they probably don't have to pay like, I don't know, like severance or anything like that.
Man, just hold on for that last severance check.
Yeah.
So how did you choose audit over tax?
Kind kind of just what popped up, what was available. That and yeah, when I took tax, both at the undergraduate level and the graduate level, I was like, damn, I just suck at this. I suck at tax. Like I was good at all my other classes, but something about tax just doesn't mesh with me. I don't know why. That
Yeah,
and
it doesn't make any sense. Like every state's got different tax laws. Like, I mean, I've only been doing it for a year, and I still feel like I don't know anything, even though I'm way more experienced than I was before. There's still so much crap I learn like every day. It's ridiculous. And there's always new laws coming out. All right, well, you gotta learn this and that. It's a freaking pain.
yeah, because I remember one thing when marijuana was getting like big, um because it's still legal on a federal level. They have all these weird tax laws against it where I think it's like you can't write off like depreciation off something off equipment that's being used to manufacture an illegal substance. Some weird law like that. I know they tried to get around it by using like the absorption method of accounting to, absorb that cost into the actual inventory so that way it can get expensed. But
That's how they,
I don't.
yeah, 'cause it's you can only deduct cost of goods sold, I guess. So obviously you'd be incentivized to maximize cost of goods sold.
Mhm. Yeah, well, like, hearing stuff like that, I'm like, that's just so nonsensical. When did that law ever come into pass? Like they just expected one day this is going to come into play. One day we're just going to have some giant companies producing illegal products, and we're just going to be okay with that. But we want to make sure that they pay more taxes. Like, I don't know where that ever came from. So weird.
Because they're getting that money, man. They can't write off as much stuff. It's more tax revenue for the government. That's why they turn a blind eye to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's weird. And if anything, that's another reason as to why they are more incentivized to keep it illegal. Like people say, like, oh, the government can tax it. It's like they're already taxing it, just differently.
Yeah, well, that's why like tax is you can get paid a ton. You can make a ton of money in tax because it's just so freaking complicated. And nobody wants to do it, and it's easy
Oh,
to screw up too. Like that's one thing I'm terrified of is let's say I start my own business in a couple of years and I do somebody's return and I don't see this new law that came out and I screw it up. It's like, oh God, what's going to happen to me?
well, yeah,
So,
that's why. Yeah, that's why I know stuff like that goes through multiple levels of like review and stuff like that. Because I always have the same fear in audit too. Because like, God forbid, the PCAOB like looks at your work. You sign off on those work papers, and they look at it and they're like, I don't think that's right. And then if that blows up into something, it comes back on you. Like I've read like stories of staff accountants getting fined hundreds of thousands of dollars for neglect. But it's like, okay, well, what do you expect? Every now and then an issue like that's going to slip through the cracks. And it went through like 4 levels of management that reviewed it and okayed it. And yeah, just anything in public accounting is just so stressful as far as like liabilities go.
I mean, isn't there insurance you can get though to kind of like cover your butt? Isn't there a way you could do that?
I mean, there probably is, but like we're already getting underpaid enough as is. Like with the amount of hours that go into it, like that's the last thing I want to do is get insurance on my job.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, I'm thinking more of like if you're self-employed. I know there's got to be a way
yeah.
you can get like some kind of insurance, which I would highly recommend you get if you actually are self-employed in that industry.
Oh no, definitely.
I pay top dollar for it just to cover my butt. You can just raise accounting fees because apparently in the whole accounting industry, I keep hearing that everybody's aging out, and there's a huge deficit in accountants, and it's like in my mind, it's like, hey, that's more money for me at some point.
Oh yeah, like there's even like when I'm working now, like people are talking about like hiring freezes and whatnot. Like where I'm working right now, we're hiring in accounting. Like that's part of the reason why I'm transitioning into external reporting because an opportunity came up there, and I just felt like it would just be better. I don't even know if I'm going to get paid more or not, but oh well. Like I eventually want to get like more experience to be able to move up. There's only so much I can learn in my current position.
Yeah. So, are you planning to like stay corporate forever? Are you ever going to branch out and do your own thing, or like what's kind of your plan if you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely stay in the corporate world. Like I'm one of those people that's everyone talks about like, oh, be your own boss. I'm that guy who's like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that headache. Like just give me a freaking steady paycheck. I don't care. I don't need anything extravagant. Like making more than enough to, max a Roth, like getting my employer match and whatnot. Like, I'm gonna retire fine. I got more than enough money to live right now. So I don't need all that extra crap in my life.
Yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to both. I lean more towards like the self-employed now because I had horrible bosses in the military. I've had horrible bosses at NASA when I used to work there. And at a certain point, I was like, I'm sick of like working for clowns that suck when I could just do my own thing. And then I started that little tutoring business that I had. And I was like, man, I was getting like great reviews and I was making a ton of money and I was making, I was building my business. I was like, man, I could actually do this. And there are some perks to being your own boss. Cause like if you don't like a client, you just like, screw you, get out of my face, loser. And there's like nothing they can do about it,
Oh yeah, that'd probably be the only great thing about it. But as far as that goes, so I remember actually a while ago I tried interviewing for H&R Block when I was still in college, and I don't know what went wrong with that, but I've heard some terrible stories about it. Like, I've come to the point where I feel like something like H&R Block is practically a scam at this point. Because like,
are you gonna make a video exposing them?
no, I don't I don't know if evidence for that, but the only anecdotal story I have of that is like, I know they charge like $300 for like an individual tax return, when in reality it's like, okay, like I could do that myself in like 20 minutes. But like a friend of mine, his girlfriend got her taxes done at H&R Block, and the thing is like they'll do the taxes, they'll tell you what the return is before you pay them, and then you okay it and then you pay the fee. And she had like questions like, why is my return like so low compared to before? She didn't pay the guy, just left, brought me her taxes, and then I did them in like half an hour, and she got like $800 more back. And she's just like, what were they doing? I'm like, oh, I had no idea had no idea what they're doing.
She should have got a copy of the return just to see what they were doing. I don't know. Maybe you screwed it up there, buddy.
No, I remember there was something specific. I think I remember what it was. Like, so I remember I did the math for it because like she has dependents, so I'm pretty sure the guy put single instead of head of household, which is like the simplest thing. Like, mathematically, it like worked out as far as like the difference goes, which that just makes me think, okay, this is just stupid. And the other thing too is I don't know if other states do it, but when I was in college, I did this internship with like a nonprofit where we did tax returns for low income areas, which apparently low income areas consider making less than 50K if you're single. And we did them for free. So it just makes me think like, okay, H&R Block has zero purpose in existing. If programs like this exist, and then if you make more than like 50K, maybe you should actually go to an actual CPA. And if you do, you're probably going to go to someone more trustworthy than H&R Block.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about complexity. Like, even if you don't make a lot of money, but you have like K1s and you have like a little business that you do, you should probably go see a CPA. But even if you make a ton of money at a W-2 job, you just have one job and you have maybe like some stocks. You could just use it, like I said, yeah, you could just pay for software. You don't necessarily have to go to H&R Block. But how they make their money, you go in there, it's probably lower income people. They're probably going to get a refund. So they don't even like, I mean, they see the fee, obviously, but they're still getting a refund anyway. So they're like, whatever. I got my refund. I got paid a couple $100, but I still got this $3,000 refund.
Yeah, and it's just one of those. It's like most scams where it is just preying upon a little bit of like ignorance, because it's like, I'm sure a lot of these people that have that kind of mindset, that extra $300 that they're paying, like, to them that's something. And I'm pretty sure like they would gladly take an hour out of their day to figure out how to do it on their own. But like, yeah, when I was doing that volunteer tax thing, like, we even had like small like sole proprietors like coming in who made like 30-40K a year. I remember doing some of those and those were crazy. But actually, I do remember there was one person who came in. It was some like old lady who had her cleaning business, just came in with a napkin with all of her expenses on it. And I was like, this is like the easiest private business tax return in the history of the world. I kept like asking questions like, "Oh, do you have a car that you want to depreciate?" No. Okay. This is all you use for your expenses? Yeah. It's like, okay, this is like the simplest business.
Yeah, it really depends on the client because, like, in my first firm that I worked at, I mean, like, some people would come in and I would have like stacks of receipts and stacks of paper, and it's like, oh my god, I really have to look through all this. But then again, it's like, the more crap you give the accountant, the more they're going to charge you because the more time it takes. So, like, if I was ever running my own business, I'd be like, if you don't come with like prepared books, get the heck out of my office. Sometimes it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah, just start charging people like every piece of paper you give me is an extra freaking 5 cents.
Yeah, I mean, no, seriously, because like I've had to like go through receipts and like, oh, well, okay, he bought some snacks here. That's not deductible. It's like, oh my god, what am I doing here? This is so stupid. But
Yeah.
no, there's definitely better ways to do it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too is like even the audit world can get convoluted like that because I interned at like a different public accounting firm that like specialized in like the medical field. So we had this one client that I was working on during my internship, some nursing home, and they did not know how to use technology. They dropped off like this massive box just filled with paper, like stacked up like this. And they just dropped it on my desk, like, okay, this is what you need. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. You just dropped like 2,000 pages on me. So I'm like looking through it, just like, okay, I probably need like 3 pages in this entire thing, but I got to look through it all to find it.
Yeah, and it's terrifying because it's like, oh, what if I miss a really important page? Because sometimes I'll like write key information on like one piece of paper, and it's like, well, okay, if I miss this, and you're screwed. It's a nightmare. That's why, yeah, like if anybody ever runs their own tax firm, it's like you better be freaking strict and say, hey, if you give me garbage, I'm not taking it. Damn the money.
Yeah, that is like the one thing about the way how like the CPA puts questions that I've understood why they do it. Because like there's certain CPA questions where they'll give you like this massive laundry list of information, like a whole freaking like income statement. And then when you read the question, you realize that you could solve the question in 2 seconds and you only need one piece of information out of everything that they give you. Whereas like, school teaches us like, oh, everything in this question is relevant. But like that like teaches the opposite. Because you really run into that in public accounting, whether tax or audit. Whoever is paying you is like, oh, I got to give them everything. Like, no, you don't. You really don't.
Oh yeah, people give you they'll give you like a quarterly mutual fund statements. It's like this has nothing to do with your taxes.
Yeah.
But you never know. You gotta look through it and be like, oh well, maybe. But you gotta train your clients. It sounds like
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually one thing with audit too that like is interesting. That is the strangest like client dynamic you could ever have because they don't want you around. They only hire you because they legally have to, and they just want you as far away from them as humanly possible. You ask them or contact them for like anything. If they don't understand what you're asking for, like they get like an attitude with you. I've had some nasty freaking clients like literally call me like on my personal phone, like yelling at me, like because I asked them for like a document that like my manager was like, oh, we need to get this to review it. They're like, oh, I sent that like last week. It's like, no, you didn't. You sent a different document that is titled very similar, that has similar information, but it's not the same thing. And we need that one, not the one that you already gave us. And yeah, they just, it's like, okay, the amount of time that you're just yelling at me and having a hissy fit about it, you could have just scanned the document and just sent it to me and just shut up.
Yeah, there's just some people out there that are just generally disrespectful. It's like if you're just nice to people in general. I mean, obviously I'm a dick on YouTube, but that's part of my persona. But it's like when I go out in public, I'm not gonna cause a fight. And I've had people prepare my taxes before I even knew what I was doing. If they ask for something, it's like, okay, he probably freaking needs it. Here you go.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, actually, I remember when I was doing that volunteer tax service. Obviously, like you need someone's social security card. I remember there was this one guy. He might have been tweaked out on drugs or something, and we're getting the process started. I was like, okay, I need your social security like number. He's like, why? taxes. I need your social security. They're like, oh, I don't have my car on me. I'll be right back. They never came back.
Should have called the cops. Something fishy going on.
Yeah, that was a really sketchy dude. That guy was. I was kind of happy he didn't come back.
Yeah, you definitely get some interesting stories because like you're like dealing with people's personal lives. So there's lots of drama in tax. The only sad thing is you can't talk about it, at least in public.
Yeah, same thing with audit, because it's like, yeah, especially like when you're like auditing a client and you're looking at their like financials way ahead of time, and you're like looking at analyst expectations and you're like, oh man, you're so freaking wrong on this. You just like have to hold that in, just like, ooh, the stock is going to get freaking annihilated this quarter, and I can't talk about it.
Yeah, it's got to be so tipping. It's like, oh, I could just short it or something, but obviously they come after your butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got to have a buddy somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That
oh yeah, you got to have a mole.
Yeah, you give them like half the profits. It'd be a good deal.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure that would come around pretty easily, especially if there's a lot of money coming in.
I'm sure people like in audit and tax. They probably don't say that they do that, but I'm sure plenty of people are freaking doing that because it's such an easy way to make money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember too, like they go through some like extensive procedure to like keep tabs on all your securities. If you want to buy or sell anything, you have to like log onto this website and like link up all your brokerage accounts so like they see everything that you own. And,
man, that's like dystopian almost.
Yeah, I mean they take that stuff so seriously. So I remember before I like actually started, I remember like seeing like all like the training videos and like the process to it. I was like, this is just too much of a headache. I had like a small like account with me at the time when I was in college. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. I just sold everything, and it's like I'm not going to be invested while I'm an auditor. But once COVID came around and the market freaking plummeted, I was like, okay, I'm going to deal with this headache and just figure it out.
You'll have a bigger headache in retirement if you have no money.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I still had like my 401k and stuff like that. And, I was like, okay, well, once I'm out of auditing, I'll just start investing again. But I eventually figured it out. Thank God I did.
Yeah. So going back to your YouTube channel a little bit. So are you I'm trying to figure it out. Are you a finance channel or you just kind of put up whatever you feel like putting up?
I'm really just doing whatever I want. I mean, a lot of it is going to be like finance, but I really looked at the finance space on YouTube and like so much of it is just so similar. I'm like, okay, you're either like in the grifter category or you're like very educational, but it's kind of boring. And there's not much like in between. Like for a little while, Graham Stephan kind of had like something semi-unique, but even his stuff's gotten so stale and repetitive. It's like at this point, I want it to be more entertaining than anything. That's why I like to just make a lot of videos that are just kind of like parodies and comedies. Like I had a lot of fun making fun of Graham Stephan, making a how Graham Stephan makes YouTube videos. He actually commented on that video, which is great.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, it was him. Yeah, because I don't know if you ever saw that video, but like I basically just mashed up every like major trope that he does and just compiled it into a video. And like part of it was saying, inflate the like button and, like showing like a picture of like a cute turtle or whatever. And that's what he commented. He just said, everyone inflate the like button for the turtle.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree, dude. Like when I first like came on YouTube, I was like, yeah, most of these people are freaking boring. They just say the same stuff. And people that the other crowd, like you said, is just the straight up freaking scammers. So it's like, where do I fit in here? So I was like, well, I can, teach some stuff, but I can also be a massive freaking clown and have a good time. So me and you definitely had the same kind of approach to YouTube. But it does kind of hurt you at some point because like if you want to get into a mass audience, if you really want to make this into something, you kind of have to go down one of those two main routes. I don't know if any big channels that are like, educational, but also clownish in the finance space that are like actually big channels.
There's one that I can think of named Benjamin. He like almost never posts, but whenever he does, his videos, I like physically am like dying laughing at these videos. I mean, most of it is just talking about, degenerate like options with the message of don't do this. Because I remember he did one video where he's like, okay, I'm going to debunk these stupid courses where he like took like a Ricky Gutierrez course and was like, okay, for scientific purposes, we're going to see if these trading methods actually work. And I remember one of the trades that he did, he actually like made money off of it and was like, shit, that wasn't supposed to happen.
delete.
So like, all right, we're going to do this again because you're not supposed to make money off this.
Oh, I guess I did watch one of his videos here. Yeah, he gets some like crazy freaking views here. Holy crap.
This dude's freaking hilarious. But like, the funny thing is like within all the jokes, like there is like actual like information. Because like he talks about like Vanguard, he calls it the Virgin Fund. It's like, do you want to be a millionaire but never get laid? Buy an index fund.
I can personally attest to that. That's very true. Yeah, look. Oh my God, his first video, unless he deleted a bunch of old ones, had got 1.8 million views.
Yeah, his channel's great. So he basically like the one channel that like really like inspired me to really go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, I want to be like actually entertaining first, and sprinkle some education in there. Because like I posted a video yesterday that I spent a couple hours on, where I mean most of it's just stupid jokes and whatnot, but at the same time I'm also kind of like trying to sprinkle in like, this is how sentiment in the stock market works, using examples like Cum Rocket token.
Yeah, it's definitely been a fun journey, but like I'm kind of torn. It's like, how do I evolve from here?
Yeah.
How do you evolve from being a massive, disgusting clown to like, at least somewhat appealing to a mass audience? So I'm grappling with that right now. I honestly, I may just keep doing what I'm doing and not give a crap. But
yeah, I mean, you're at a point where you're still growing, and especially with everything that's happened, the fact that like you have the backlog of information, like kind of legitimizing all like the ridiculous stuff that you've done, it only makes it like, okay, well, yeah, I'm some dude in a bathrobe and a pink hat, but I have better information than the dude who has this whole organization, a team of CPAs. Like he's over there losing his freaking butt, and I'm sitting here just like, ha ha, I was right, you're dumb.
Yeah, but have I introduced you to the concept known as the black pill?
Oh, I'm very well subscribed to the black pill.
The YouTube, the finance black pill.
Oh yeah. I'm very well aware of it.
There's different black pills out there. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same one.
Yeah, just the doom and gloom. Like I've accepted that every time people learn, there's always going to be new people that come in. So I remember a friend of mine, when I was talking to him like last year, he was like, "Yeah, I want to get into like day trading." I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you don't." He's like, "Oh, but I can just go on YouTube and like learn how to do it. I'm sure there's plenty of good people." And I'm like, "No, there's not. Even if you want to legitimately learn how to day trade just for the sake of learning how to do it, don't go to YouTube. Don't do it."
Well, isn't there a channel called Everything Money that teaches day trading?
Oh yeah, you just have to sell your soul.
As a matter of fact, I think I have an Everything Money intro we're going to watch real quick, because why not?
Merry Christmas, little fella.
It's Santa Claus and his elf.
We're not gonna hurt you.
No, got some nice presents for you.
I don't know why that one made me laugh so hard. Yours was a really good submission, but there was something about that one that just had me freaking dying.
Yeah, it just, I don't know what it was. It just had some magic to it.
I get impressed if you have a lot of graphics in your submissions, I get impressed. Even if it's like total garbage, as long as there's lots of graphics, I like it. I'm like a fly attracted to a light.
Yeah, I mean, it's the production. Like, that definitely helps it a lot. Like, I need to learn how to edit a little bit more, because there's so many, like, stupid ideas that I have, but I'm like, I don't know how to logistically make this into a video.
Oh, dude, you're talking to the. I totally understand what you're talking about. I have thought so long and hard about like really learning to edit, but then it's like I don't have the time to do it. I really don't have the time. Now, if I was a full-time YouTuber and I like live with my mom or something, yeah, I would have time to like edit my videos, because I'm not doing anything else. But it's like you do a full work day, you got the CPA exam, I got I got to work out, I got kids, I got to cook dinner or whatever, or eat dinner. It's like the only thing I have time to do is like maybe edit a quick video where I just throw a bunch of clips together, which is easy, or just go live and talk crap for 15 minutes. So it's just how it is.
Yeah, because like the short that I made a while back, the Millennial Money one, like that took me like 8 hours to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for a 1 minute short, it took me like 8 hours.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. It sucks.
But that's also coming from someone who like, was using Adobe for like 3 weeks. So, like in my mind, that's a success. The fact that it even like came out the way it did. But yeah.
And like what I've noticed is like sometimes when I edit videos, like they freaking bomb. And then sometimes I just get on here and go live for 10 minutes. It's like, oh man, I got 10,000 views. So, I mean, I guess, like I said, if you want to be one of those big YouTubers, you really want to make it in the finance space. Okay, at some point you're going to have to edit and, improve your quality. But where I'm at right now, it's like, I'm not freaking doing that.
Yeah. Or you can just, be like the grifters, just because I like look at Jeremy's videos and I'm like, how does this guy even like, does he like even watch his own videos? Like how, I don't understand how anyone can just like actually watch his videos. Like same thing with me, Kevin, like even before I even knew anything about them, I just saw like Meet Kevin always like popping up as like a suggested thing. And I was like, okay, I'll see what this guy's all about. I watched like 5 videos of him. Then I watched like a couple of videos on Andre Cheek, and I'm like, these guys are so freaking boring. Like, I don't get it. I'm gonna watch Benjamin again.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Meet Kevin's like a chatterbox, and he sounds like really intelligent and knowledgeable. So, like, I think that's why people like him. When it comes to Jeremy, I can't figure it out either. Maybe he's just got something going on that I can't detect, or maybe it was just Tesla stock. I don't freaking know. But something propelled him to become a massive YouTuber. And actually, somebody asked me about the black pill. I'm going to explain it right now. At a certain point, when you get large enough on YouTube, it doesn't matter how incompetent, how stupid, how idiotic you are, how many mistakes you make, how much money you lose, how many people you screw over. It doesn't matter. You will only get more views and more subscribers, because once you get that big, you can't lose. It's just getting to that point is the hard part. So that's the black pill. So it's like, like you look at the FTX disaster, and it's like, okay, is Graham Stephan really going to suffer for that? Is Andre really going to suffer? Did Jeremy suffer for that? Did me, Kevin? No, nobody suffered. I mean, some people have said, oh, their views have dropped off. They'll come back 100%.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially once a bull market happens again, you're going to get a whole nother wave of retail investors coming in that just missed everything. Especially with the fact that, everyone's like deleting videos and whatnot. It's like, yeah, if you really want to find the truth, it's out there. But people aren't going to do that.
Yeah, like the bear market has been like, obviously it's been beneficial for my channel, because a lot of things I said, oh, like this is garbage, and then it collapsed. I'm like, oh, see, I'm so smart. But once the bull market comes back, it's like, okay, well, at least I get more fresh material. I could dump on all the stupid stocks again, but I'm going to have to wait, and I'm going to have to sit here and watch while these idiots, get kind of rewarded for pumping trash.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I feel like everything money's in like this weird place, like with the grifting, like somehow they're able to like benefit from like both the bull market and the bear market with what they're doing, just kind of with that like weird value investing thing. But I don't know. I just feel so disappointed in that channel, because like
they screwed it up. Like they were on the right track. Like, okay, the stock analyzer tool. Yeah, you have to do more research than that. Obviously, it's like a good way to screen out a garbage stock. But they went from that, and they didn't really do any more deep dives. Even when they say they're going to do a deep dive, it's literally just, okay, scan the statements really quick and then do a DCF, and then boom, okay, buy the stock or not, or consider buying the stock or whatever. And then they started doing the day trading crap. And then they started doing the freaking options crap. And it's like, guys, come on. You can't say you're a value investor and then do all this options garbage and day trading garbage. It just doesn't sink. But they're just trying to appeal to as many people as possible. They hook you in with the value investing thing, and then they get you into the more expensive subscriptions, which are day trading. And honestly, like I didn't see it at the beginning. I was like, man, these guys are a breath of fresh air. There's so many worse grifters out there. And then I slowly woke up to like how big of clowns they actually were.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember because the first clip in that intro video that I made where like Paul messed up like the debits and credits, I was like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. What is if you're gonna mess that up, what else have you messed up? And I think that was really like a big tipping point. Because before that, anytime there was like something, I always had some sort of rational excuse of like, oh well, maybe it's this or that, whatever. Because like, I look at like Paul's like obsession with Intel, and especially like looking back at it now, I just think to myself like this guy didn't actually do any research.
Yeah, no, he literally just does put it in the stock screener, and boom, that's what he does, and then he buys it or not. Like, I mean, because I put like $500 into Intel. I was like, you know what, I'll put some money in here, and I said, okay, well, as long as the revenue kind of stays flat, cool, maybe I'll make some money. And then there was that horrible quarter where they just got absolutely wrecked on their top line. I think their revenue dropped like 22% year over year. And to me, it's like, okay, if you were Paul and you saw your assumptions changed because you did your DCF based on a certain set of assumptions that have now drastically changed, why are you still investing in the stock? It doesn't make sense. Your whole thesis has changed. And he's like, oh, it doesn't matter. The revenue collapsed 22%, even though I had 0% or 1% on my DCF. I mean, I sold out of that crap and I lost $25. But yeah, he just keeps going in. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how you look at it, like I wouldn't argue with someone who buys it now at this price, but like in the 40s, especially with what's going on just in the semiconductor space and whatnot, like I like look at it the same way I look at it when Jeremy bought like Corsair. It's like, okay, it's the pandemic and it's a cyclical business. They've got so much competition. They're no longer like the kings of their industry anymore. They're losing so much market share. And he even like acknowledges it, like, oh yeah, they're losing market share, but the market's getting bigger. It's like, okay, but what makes you think it's gonna like work itself out magically like that? Like,
yeah, there's something very wrong with that business. I don't know what it is, but when your revenue collapses like that, I don't know.
Yeah, they've had some really bad management the last couple of years. I know that they changed their CEO about 2 years ago, and I actually like that guy. I forgot what his name was.
Is it Gelsinger?
Yeah, I think it's like Bob Gelson, something like that. But that industry is just really interesting. And yeah, like going back to Jeremy and Corsair, I remember that was actually the first time that I really, because the first time I ever heard of him was Millennial Money. He's talking about like Tattooed Chef and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what that is. That's his thing. Maybe it's something, maybe it's not. I don't care. Then he started talking about Corsair, and I'm like, hold up. That no, because like I'm big into gaming, and I'm thinking like, okay, his literal thesis is gaming's gonna grow. It's like, okay, even if that's true, why Corsair? Like that is the dumbest stock to pick based on that thesis alone. It's like, okay, you're talking about PC gaming specifically, which is extremely expensive to get into. It's only gone up in price because, we had the crypto market. People needed more powerful power supplies and more RAM, which are the two main things that Corsair makes aside from keyboards and mice. It's like, okay, obviously that's where all the revenue came from. Crypto market crashes, and then we see it play out the way it's supposed to. Like he could have bought anything else. He could have bought Nvidia. He could have bought AMD. He could have bought Sony. He could have bought Microsoft. Could have bought Activision, EA, Take-Two, if that's your thesis. And like you pick the dumbest gaming stock.
I mean, I really think he just like sees a product because like when I was in Vegas, right? We were going around in the Ubers and whatever, and like I could almost see why he picked every stock, because it's like, oh, there's Tattooed Chef in the fridge, there's the Wynn Hotel, there's Planet 13. I literally just think he like sees stuff, and then if he like goes in there and he thinks it's cool or interesting, that's kind of his thesis behind it, and he kind of like wraps his whole investment idea around something that he liked. It's like Planet 13. Like I went in Planet 13. It was a nice store.
Oh yeah, that place looked crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome. But they don't make any freaking money. But it's like to him, it's like, oh, it's a nice store. So it's the future, bro. But yeah, Corsair was a train wreck, man. Like to me, it was obvious. I didn't know anything about Corsair, but I remember looking, because I mean, I buy the most basic crap. I have like a crappy Logitech keyboard right here. But I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, you know, it was not very unprofitable. It was unprofitable. Its revenue wasn't growing that fast before the pandemic. And then all of a sudden during the pandemic, when we're getting stimulus checks and everybody's working from home and we're doing all crypto, oh, the revenue went up 66% or something. I wonder if that's sustainable. No, it's not. But, you know, for him, it's obvious stuff like that. It just doesn't seem to click.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about him.
But hey, he's got 723,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so he must be smarter than me.
Obviously. it really hurts me. It's like, oh man, like I've been so right on this clown for so long. And it's like, yeah, I've had subscriber growth. That's great. But people are still listening to that idiot after everything that's happened. And it's kind of like, I'm just gonna give up hope. Like, what's the freaking point anymore?
Yeah. It especially breaks my heart seeing him like try to read financial statements. So I'm just like, oh my God. I would pay to see what his test results would be if Jeremy had to sit down and take all 4 parts of the CPA exam. I want to see how bad he would fail and just see what those scores would be.
Probably the lowest score in recorded history. He'd be so bad, everybody else would pass. It's like, man, we got this one idiot here. Everybody else must be a freaking genius.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'd love to see him try to calculate like a bond, like amortization or anything. He's like, but it's not revenue my revenue, so it doesn't exist.
Well, the only thing that matters, and you should know this as an accountant, is revenue. That's it. Nothing else matters. And
I was going to say one more thing: cash. The cash balance. That's super important, of course.
Yeah, I remember he was looking at what was that stupid stock? It's some crappy EV company he was looking at, and he was like, oh my God, all the cash just poofed away. It's just gone. And I'm like, dude, you could just go look at like other parts of the balance sheet, or maybe like look at the statement of cash flows, and you could see that like they didn't just poof the cash away. Like some of it was burned in operations, but a lot of it went to like buying property, plant, and equipment, paying off debt. It's like, you don't even know the freaking basics, you idiot.
Like I wonder like who. Sometimes I wonder who is dumber, him or Paul, after like the sleep number thing.
Dude, I think Paul is way smarter than Jeremy. I mean, what I think Paul does is he does his other business stuff, right? And then he just walks downstairs, he pulls up a financial statement, reads through it real quick, it's easy to miss stuff, you know, if you do something like that. And I mean, I've been guilty of that too. It's like, oh, let me look at this stupid company. And then you're looking real quick, you try to get through the video, you miss something obvious. That's what I think he does. You know, I think he makes honest mistakes, and he does buy some stupid stocks, you know, 100%. But when it comes to Jeremy, like Jeremy just doesn't know anything. He's literally a moron, 100%. So I would say Paul is like an order of magnitude smarter than Jeremy.
Yeah, I probably have to agree.
But they're best buddies now.
Yeah, I know. I remember too when that video came out, I was so confused. Because I remember
you talking about
the stepbrother video where they buried the hatchet. I was like, is this a freaking prank?
Yeah, that was a weird reversal. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, because I saw that pop up. Like I was like at the beach or something like that, and I saw the thumbnail and was like, okay, this is probably Paul roasting him again. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch some of this while I'm on the beach. And I had bad connection. I got through like half the video and I was like, what the freaking buffer? I need to see what happens. What's going on?
Well, he said Jeremy was more value oriented than he thought. I'm like, what the hell did Jeremy tell you that made you think he's value oriented? Like he probably just read a freaking script, and then I guess Paul just bought it.
I mean, I honestly think that Jeremy just like sent him like kind of like a half baked script of like, you're gonna get a camera, you're gonna say this, or I'm suing you.
You think there was a conspiracy there?
I mean, I honestly do.
See, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I got a counter argument.
Yeah.
Why would Jeremy sue Paul when he hasn't sued me yet?
Because Paul has, a lot more assets. He has a much bigger audience.
You're saying Paul's richer than me? He is. He's a lot richer than me.
He has a lot more to lose.
That's true. But I mean, like, I don't think Paul really hammered him that much. I mean, everything he said about Jeremy was true. Like, the guy's obviously a moron, you know? Like, to sue somebody, you have to be like, oh, they completely made up lies about me.
Well, I think it is him like definitively saying like he was paid to pump trash stocks. Like, I'm pretty sure like that specifically, because he sounded very adamant, like, oh yeah, he definitely got paid, which, you know, we can't prove or disprove it.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. I mean, like, I wish I could call Tattooed Chef and be like, hey, did you pay Jeremy? Just tell me. Or can you give me, I wonder if I could email them and be like, hey, I'm an investor. Can I see the the general ledger for your advertising or marketing budget and see what they send you?
That's actually one thing that I was like talking to some people like in a chat once about. I think either like on one of your live streams or like one of Fabio's live streams about like how much fun it would actually be to like audit Tattooed Chef. I would just Control F and put Jeremy's name on every freaking document and see if I could just like find any connection with him, and just like automatically like bring that up to the PCAOB and just be like, shut this down.
Yeah, I might quit my job, go apply for the company that audits Tattooed Chef, get on that engagement, and then specifically do all that hassle, just so I can search for Jeremy's name.
Yeah, just look through their database, because I guarantee it. If there's a connection there, you can find it.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got a super chat. Boom, 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 boom. I'm so rich now. Get on your knees, everybody. I owed you $2 bucks. I thought oil would hit 120 a barrel. FJB helped hold down the price. What is FJB?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know what these acronyms are. Well, thank you, Deadeye, for the kind donation. I'm going to use this probably to pay my taxes because I have taxes due January 15th. That's the sad thing. It's like, oh man, I got to freaking, every time I get my YouTube check, it goes into savings. And then from savings, it just goes to taxes. It's like, Jesus. All right, man, we're about to wrap it up. Do you got any see any comments you want to address?
No, I haven't been
last
looking.
Words?
Someone says that they've met a lot of people like me. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
It's probably a troll. Is it Kid Freshie?
No, I know who that guy. Well, I don't know who that guy is, but I've had some arguments with him in the comments, and I've pretty much realized that dude's just a troll.
Yeah, he is, and he doesn't know how options work. Apparently, he's actually going to inspire another video for me. Two stupid guys trade stocks. Benjamin is pure YouTube gold. These guys are actually entertaining. I don't know if they're actually day traders or not, but I've watched a couple of their videos. They're pretty funny. But I don't know if they're grifters or not. I'll have to do more research.
I mean, I think the closest thing to grifting they do is they do a morning brew sponsor for a free product.
Morning brew coffee. That's a disgusting grift right there.
Apparently, Bob Smith says your girlfriend is hot. That's funny.
Big alias, your girlfriend. How do they know what your girlfriend looks like? Aren't you married?
Yeah, I am. So I was saying I don't have a girlfriend.
Oh, do you?
Oh, he's on to me.
Uh-oh. Your wife's going to beat you after this.
Probably.
All right, we'll make this the last comment. Tell us about BEC. Did you say you took it yet or not? You haven't done it yet?
No, the last one I'm doing, I haven't even looked at it.
Well, for me, it was like, everybody says it's easy. It's the easiest test. Everybody passes it. Well, it's like a bunch of crap cobbled together. I would just say study it and take it as seriously as the other ones, because when I took BEC, that was the one test I thought I failed, like, massively. But you get a boost because there's like writing portions. And as long as, if you can game the writing portion, like I got like perfect scores on the writing portion. If you can game that, you're going to set yourself up to pass the test. But I would say just take it serious. Don't be like, oh, it's easy. I don't have to really study as hard. Yeah, you do. All right. Well, that's it.
Right.
Last, you want to shout out your channel one more time, Mr. Alias? And then we'll play your intro and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, so check me out, Fake Alias. Exactly how it's written out here. Check out my channel. I got a variety of different videos. Hopefully you find them funny. Most of the music that I have in my videos are tracks that I wrote like a long time ago. I used to be into music. And yeah, the music that's in the Everything Money intro that I made, that was something I whipped up like a year ago. I was like, oh, I'll just throw this track in there. It fits.
I liked it. All right, we'll play the intro and then you guys have a wonderful night. Cheers!
Also quick, smart, and disciplined.
When you increase liabilities, it's a debit the liabilities. Let's say $10. Cash?
Writing off the top of his head, it was incredible. I'm just sometimes sitting there in awe.
Oh, zero margin. Of course that makes sense. Of course it's going to be zero.
I'm probably smarter than you, so it's okay.
Jeremy, you talk about transparency? When did you let everybody know you're being paid every month by whatever stock was trying to have you pump and dump? Not gonna lie, guys, he's a lot more value-oriented than he portrays on the channel.